identify yourself and media outlet.
Mark Passwater from Bridals.
Hey, Mark.
It's been a couple of days now, but how do you, as not only a father but a coach, deal with the situation like you've had with Foley?
It's tough. You know, anytime I've been through this a couple of times in my career, especially when you get a guy like Pope that's loved by his teammates. And we're a very strong family, a very tight family. You know, it's a little bit hard. When I was in the home, I had just got hired when we went in and started recruiting Polo. And I know how tight-knit they are, and what a great kid he was. And, you know, it's a little bit of a struggle, to be honest with you.
Back here, Chip. Hang on just a second. Get the mic to you.
Mark, Chip Howard with the Zone. How does this year's challenge compare with what you faced a year ago?
Exactly the same. I mean, you know, we got a lot of unknowns on defense. You know, I will say this, the good thing is we got about 11, 12 guys that played in the system a little bit, have been on foul field, traveled, which is a far cry from what we had last year. But we're still very, very young. I think the challenges are very, very similar.
Down front here, Suzanne.
Hey, Mark, Suzanne Halliburton with the Statesman. What do you think about the new penalties with the targeting?
I knew that was going to come up. You know, I have mixed emotions about it. I was a little bit fine with the way it was last year. I'm a little worried this year with some of the ways that's going to be handled. You know, I think, I know this, if a kid is defenseless, if he's not looking and you go head to head, there should be a penalty. Something should happen drastically. You know, getting hit in the shoulder pad, we're talking about, you know, where we're going to tackle. We started that a couple of years ago. Now, if your helmet rises and hits a person in the face, that's a penalty. I just don't know that that's right. In the heat of the emotion of the game, you guys know I'm on the sideline, the refs are on the field, and they're making a decision in an emotional play to eject a kid. I just don't think that's right. I'd be fine if it goes up to the booth, but for an emotional judgment right there on the field, you know, I just think that we need to keep looking at that. And speaking as a defensive coach.
To the right, please.
Mark Bach, Texas Ag Sports Radio 1115. How important is this particular group of freshmen to your front seven filling out that and possibly finding a starter?
Well, there's no doubt. We went through this last year. I mean, we were sat here last year talking about the exact same thing. You know, we haven't had a chance to actually get these guys what the day is all about. That's why we're so excited to get on the grass today, see what these young men can do, and we'll know a little bit more Friday and Saturday when we get the pads on, what these guys can contribute. I know they're really good high school football players, you know, but that don't always translate into becoming a good college football player. So that's what's exciting about preseason camp. Makes our job, you know, fun. Not always easy, but fun. You know, every coach in America would like to walk out there with 10 returning starters, you know, but that's not always the case.
Other questions for Coach Snyder? We're here to the left, Suzanne.
Hey, Mark, I forgot to ask Kevin, but how are you injury-wise or any players that you called out in offense?
Not that I know of. I think we're full scale as far as I know.
Anything else for Coach Snyder? Back to the back here. Time for a couple more.
Coach, for Luke Simons from KIXG, as far as all the stuff that's been going on this summer, how good will it be for the guys as a whole just to get back onto the football field and maybe have that sense of normalcy back a little bit?
Well, I think, you know, thinking back to when I was a player, you always are ready to get rid of the strength coach and the plyometrics and the sprints and all those kind of things and get back to actually playing the game to develop. So I'm sure our guys will be excited.
To the middle of there, Chip.
Mark, not knowing exactly what's going to happen with the two defensive backs, does that make it more urgent to bring some more depth in here in the next few weeks?
Yeah, we've got a plan put together, you know, whether it's be injury, whatever it may be, we have to have a plan. And that's something that we did before we went on vacation. We've got a plan for a rotation. We know some young guys are going to have to play anyway. So that won't deter anything we're going to do from a rep standpoint. We're going to proceed as normal and as things come down the pipe, the next guy's got to stand up, and that's always been our mantra. I mean, the next guy's got to play, whatever happens.
Is there a position that you're most concerned about?
Yeah, up front, linebacker, a little bit of depth in the secondary. Besides that, not much.
Hey, Coach, Kate, Dallas Morning News. Could you talk a little bit about your memories of Polo and what the team made you to honor him?
Well, I mean, he always had a smile on his face. You know, Polo was a kid that liked to joke around quite a bit. He brought a smile to everybody's face. You know, even though he was young, he wasn't quite like Spencer Neely because he wasn't old enough to bring that kind of energy. But for a young guy, he kind of brightened up the room when he walked in and would speak to you as you walk down the hallway and say things that maybe a freshman you think, well, cool. I'm a coach and you're a freshman and you're saying this kind of thing, all in good jest. He's a great kid.
Any plans to honor him or do something?
You know, that'd be a cool song.
One thing to note, the funeral for Polo will be Saturday, and the team will be attending. And then, of course, at Texas A&M, you have silver taps with any current student who passes away. And I believe that will be September 3rd, the first Tuesday of the month. Right here, David, you're going to be our last one with Coach Snyder.
David Stand Up, Scout.com. Coach, you talked about obviously some issues you need to fill, specifically linebacker. I know you had 3 midterm enrollees. Just wondered your assessment on their performance and overall, where you see the newcomers kind of fitting in.
Well, we'll see. You know, anytime you get young people in there early, it helps. I think it's definitely going to help those 2 guys being there early. They got a little bit of a jump on the other freshmen because they were here for spring ball. That's going to give them a little bit of advantage, but I'm excited. You know, I kind of know what they can do now. I'm excited to get out there here in the next week or so and see what the other guys can do.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time. Thank you. Coach McKinney here.